Example science debate. Should antibiotics be used in agriculture? This video aims to give students an example of what a scientific debate might look like. In this video, I will give two example debate speeches. The first speech will argue for the use of antibiotics in agriculture. The second speech will argue against the use of antibiotics in agriculture. You may want to complete this table as you watch the video. First speech. This speech will argue for the use of antibiotics in agriculture. Introduction. While there are concerns about the overuse of antibiotics, I firmly believe that antibiotics should continue to be used in agriculture under strict regulation and responsible practices. In the next few minutes, I will outline 5 key reasons why antibiotics are a vital tool in modern agriculture. Reason 1. Disease prevention and animal welfare. Antibiotics play a crucial role in preventing and treating diseases in farm animals. Livestock can be vulnerable to various bacterial infections that can spread quickly in confined spaces. The responsible use of antibiotics ensures that animals do not suffer needlessly from painful and often deadly infections. By safeguarding animal health, we are also upholding our ethical responsibility to treat animals with compassion and respect. Reason 2. Food safety and public health. The use of antibiotics in agriculture contributes significantly to food safety and public health. Ensuring that farm animals are healthy and free from disease reduces the likelihood of harmful pathogens entering the food supply. When animals are raised in conditions that prioritize their well-being, the risk of transmitting diseases to humans is minimized, protecting the consumers from potential health hazards associated with contaminated meat and dairy products. Reason 3. Sustainable agriculture. Antibiotics can be a valuable tool in promoting sustainable agriculture. By preventing and treating diseases in livestock, farmers can achieve higher yields and healthier animals. This leads to increased food production efficiency, reducing the need for additional resources and land to meet the growing demand for food. In essence, responsible antibiotic use can contribute to the conservation of natural resources and help address global food security challenges. Reason 4. Economic viability for farmers. For many farmers, antibiotics are essential for maintaining the economic viability of their operations. Animal diseases can result in substantial financial losses, and antibiotics are often a cost-effective means of preventing these losses. When farmers can effectively manage the health of their livestock, they can maintain stable incomes, support their families, and continue to provide the food we rely on. Reason 5. Regulation and responsible use. It is essential to emphasize that the use of antibiotics in agriculture should be closely regulated and based on best practices. Strict guidelines can ensure that antibiotics are administered in a manner that minimizes the development of antibiotic resistance and environmental contamination. Responsible use includes proper diagnosis, veterinary oversight, and adherence to withdrawal periods to prevent antibiotic residues in food products. Conclusion. In conclusion, antibiotics have a vital role to play in modern agriculture when used responsibly and in accordance with stringent regulations. They are indispensable for preventing and treating diseases in farm animals, safeguarding food safety, promoting sustainable agriculture, and supporting the economic viability of farmers. While concerns about the antibiotic resistance and environmental impact are valid, they should not lead to a blanket ban on antibiotics in agriculture. Instead, we must focus on developing and enforcing responsible practices that balance the essential role of antibiotics with the need to protect public health and the environment. Here is a summary of what has been said so far. I'm now going to move on to the second speech. This speech will argue against the use of antibiotics in agriculture. Introduction. The topic of antibiotics in agriculture has garnered increasing attention in recent years, and I firmly believe that the use of antibiotics in this context should be curtailed. In the next few minutes, I will present 5 compelling reasons why antibiotics should not be used in agriculture. Reason 1. The emergence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. One of the most pressing concerns surrounding the use of antibiotics in agriculture is the emergence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. When antibiotics are administered to livestock on a routine basis, bacteria within these animals can develop resistance to these drugs. This resistance can spread to humans through various pathways, such as through the consumption of contaminated meat or contact with animal waste. The rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria poses a severe threat to public health, as it limits the effectiveness of these vital drugs in treating human infections. Reason 2. Impact on human health. The link between antibiotic use in agriculture and human health cannot be overstated. Antibiotics are a cornerstone of modern medicine, enabling the treatment of bacterial infections that were once life-threatening. However, the overuse of antibiotics in agriculture jeopardizes their efficacy. When antibiotics become less effective due to resistance, treating common infections becomes more challenging, leading to prolonged illness and an increased risk of complications. In the worst case scenario, we could face a return to a pre-antibiotic era where even minor infections become life-threatening once again. Reason 3. Environmental consequences. Beyond the impact on human health, the use of antibiotics in agriculture has far-reaching environmental consequences. Antibiotics can enter the soil, water and air through runoff and the disposal of animal waste. This contamination can harm beneficial microorganisms in the environment and contribute to the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria in various ecosystems. It disrupts the delicate balance of our ecosystems and poses a long-term threat to biodiversity. Reason 4. Alternatives and sustainable practices. There are viable alternatives to the routine use of antibiotics in agriculture. Embracing sustainable practices such as improved hygiene, better animal husbandry, and vaccination programs can reduce the need for antibiotics. These alternatives not only protect human health and the environment, but also promote the well-being of animals by addressing the root causes of disease. Reason 5. Ethical considerations. We must also consider the ethical dimension of using antibiotics in agriculture. Antibiotics are often administered to animals not only to treat illness, but also as a preventative measure in crowded and unsanitary conditions. This raises questions about the treatment of animals and whether we should be relying on antibiotics to compensate for suboptimal living conditions. Ethical farming practices should prioritize the well-being of animals without the need for constant antibiotic interventions. In conclusion, the use of antibiotics in agriculture is a complex issue with far-reaching implications for human health, the environment, and ethics. The emergence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, the impact on human health, environmental consequences, and viable alternatives all underscore the urgent need to re-evaluate our reliance on antibiotics in farming. We must recognise that our choices today will have lasting consequences for the future. By advocating for responsible and sustainable farming practices, we can protect both our health and the health of the planet. It is time to take a stand and work towards a future where antibiotics are reserved for their intended purpose, the treatment of human illness, and not squandered in agriculture. This table summarizes the key points from both debates. The point of this video is not to convince you one way or the other about the efficacy or usefulness of antibiotics in agriculture. It's just to present an example of how you would structure a debate for or against a certain topic. I hope it's vaguely useful. Here are some other potential science debates topics you could look at.